there's a bunch of things that are confused like that, and I don't know why. But it is what it is. Let's get this on the move here. Behold, we are here. We exist, we can swing a sword, we can roll around, we have a bunch of healing potions. And what more could you possibly need, really? Okay. The preview in Windows was looking a little weird. Weird for what the preview in OBS was looking like. So I was double checking it. Press the roll A button to roll. In combat, you get a small window of invincibility while rolling. You can roll over some small gaps. Behold, as I defy physics. Need a key to go that way, so we're not going that way yet. You can break chests by attacking them using the attack X button. There we go. You found a small key. Use it to unlock a path. Let's go ahead and just go pop the door and move on with our lives. I do like that the key actually drops into the container and opens the door. And now we have this thing. Presumably some variety of zombie. And it is now returned to its eternal rest, and we get one of these little baubles. What they're for? Good question. We'll figure that out later. Use Interact A button to pick up pots. Use Interact again to throw them. This is my pot. There are many like it, but this one is mine. This one also makes me very slow. Okay, there we go. Press the Map Select button to view the map. Find more pieces to complete the map. As you can see, we actually have a decent amount of information with this map. Despite the fact that apparently it is an incomplete map. So I'm curious to see what the complete map looks like. The best part about these pots, though, is you can use the pots to commit long-distance violence upon your enemies. And they don't even understand what was happening. Grab their little bauble, and we'll go ahead and break the rest of these in case there's anything good in them. But it looks like you can sometimes throw the pots out of bounds, so that's something. Part of me wishes you could pick up the corpses and throw them. Turns out there's a slight delay between rolls. Kinda should have expected that, but I went for it anyway. When I was testing this, I fell into one of these up here, because I was checking to see whether it was like a oil pit or if it was like a hole, because of the streaks going across it. Turns out it's a hole. Press the heal Y button to drink one healing flask. We have 3 of them, and I don't feel the need to heal, so we'll just hold that thought. At last, you arrive. What kept you? Our next target's location eludes us still, but the organization persists in its search. Venture north. A graveyard is beset by vile monsters. Pass through it with resolve. Our paths will cross again once I possess further information. You are dismissed. Alright. Now, are these the monsters of the graveyard, or are these the result of the monsters being in the graveyard? Questions that may or may not ever be answered. We're now further in the demo than I ever have been, by the way. I only did the very introductory section in that cave just to make sure everything moved and worked properly. And for audio balancing purposes. Because I kind of assumed that most of the audio was going to be relatively the same level from then forward. Progress is automatically saved when you interact with the checkpoint. Using Rest replenishes all your health and flasks, but respawns all the enemies. Level up allows you to increase your character stats in exchange for tears. Ah, so they are the tears of Tearscape. Understood. Oh, the statue is crying blood. I'm sure that's only a good sign. I'm sure everything is fine. It takes 20 tears to level up. Okay. We'll go ahead and rest because we're not going backwards, so there's no reason to worry about the enemies behind us. Well, we're not going that way yet. I presume we'll have to loop all the way around to get to the button to open that. Our sword may be mighty, but it cannot cut it down a tree. Got a locked door over there. Oh, and for anyone keeping track, I have and haven't finished just fixing the controller issue I was having. So we may have some audio issues come a cropper today at some point. We shall see. Because I'd say I haven't fully fixed the problem because it started behaving after I rebooted the computer, which I don't do very often, so that very well may be the thing. But I'm still on the lookout for whether it'll come up again. It was fully behaved all day yesterday and all day the day before, because I was thoroughly testing the controller at that point to see if it was going to happen at all. I think that's... It almost looks like hair just pops into existence with that turning attack sprite. That's why I was like, huh. But I think it's just the lighting on the cape. Because if you look at that, and then you look at the cape on our back, they look identical. So I'm pretty sure that's what's happening, but it almost looks like hair. It was throwing me for a second when I actually looked at it a little closer, but not quite close enough. Okay, so is it you just attack with a specific timing? Gotcha. That did a lot of damage, though, when it did hit me. I'll have to keep that in mind. And of course, as with all of the Next Fest demos we've been doing, these will be getting like an hour at a time. And then we move on to the next one. Plus or minus any demos that end before an hour is up, of course. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to interrupt me. Let's just get away from that so it doesn't kill me. At least the flasks heal for a lot. It definitely has a hefty delay to it, but that's pretty expected at this point. There we go. Why are you so weird about this, OBS? Oh, I see why. So, the desktop's probably flickered on screen a few times for y'all whenever I check on things, because Windows is stupid. But it'll be what it'll be. I'm just trying to make sure that things are working, because I never use display capture, for obvious reasons, because display capture is a pain in the ass. But unfortunately, it was the only functioning capture method for this game, so we make it work. Now, admittedly, there probably would be another solution. I just did not have much time to look for one, because I did not anticipate it just not working in OBS when I went to start up today. Okay, I don't have an excuse for that one, aside from it wasn't letting me roll once I was in the pit. I'm gonna guess I'm not supposed to go that way. The first thing I tried to do was roll diagonally, which... Now you can roll diagonally, but I'm betting it's not designed for you to do that. He says as he tries again. Yeah, the second you start going slow because you're going into the pit, it just stops letting you roll. So that is almost certainly designed so you can't do that. So where am I supposed to be going? There's a hole there, which I assume is how you get to that button after getting that chest. So was there something above me up here that I just didn't look at? Most likely the answer is yes. There must be... Aha! Once you rule out all other options, whatever's left has to be correct. Yeah, I knew I was dying there. These bats are kind of a nightmare to hit. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's absolutely just purely because I'm not really the best at timing things. Like, I would not blame the game for that being the case. But they are pretty brutal. And you definitely do not have the mobility to get out of the way of them unless you roll. Which, that makes sense. We're just kind of casually strolling around. If you could casually stroll out of the way of a bat flying at you, that would be genuinely impressive. Or disappointing on the bat's part. One of the two. Now, can I trigger them and then get back off the platform and get to the ground so I can actually have room to fight? That's the better question. Because we were screwed there, because it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm on a moving platform and there's bats attacking me. I can't exactly roll or I will just get screw-jobbed immediately. I don't know how that attack didn't hit him. Like, I presume it's something relating to them being a flying target and having it just be a little bit squirrely. This one, we just don't have a choice. Okay, as soon as you touch the healing flask button, you're committed, by the way. There's no canceling that, as it turns out. Oh my god. These bats are the worst. I feel like that didn't hit, but I'm gonna assume there's a little bit of leeway on the hitbox there. As it stands, I may do a little bit of trimming on this segment of the VOD just to cut out the big section of my desktop being on screen. Not that there's a major reason to do so, but just because I don't think anybody needs to see that. Okay, these aren't breakable. Just that one that's up there that I need to break is. Interesting. I just really have to get the timing on hitting that bat on the left down, I guess. Because my only other choice is to ride the moving platform all the way back here in order to have room to dodge the second bat. And that just really isn't viable, because by the time I get back over here, he'll have done enough damage that I'm in trouble again anyway. And I freely admit to being much more vigilant about where I'm standing than about where the bat is when I'm on this skinny bit of land over here. Ignoring the fact that I should be more vigilant about the bat. That's fine. I'm still in a better position overall there. Got him. I didn't want to trust myself to get that hit after how many times I did not succeed, is why I used the heal even though the timing was very risky. Okay, onward and upward. Just some tears in that box, huh? I was kind of expecting something that was going to be beneficial to me, which admittedly the tears are, and we're going to go spend them before I lose them again. But I'm not sure what the move to go forward is now, then. That really seemed like the thing that would allow me to make progress. But perhaps that's meant to indicate to me that there is somewhere else I can break a tombstone open to do something. We shall work on that as we go. Let's see, Vitality increases your health so you can take more hits, obvious. Stamina increases your stamina so you can move more, also makes sense. Increases your power so you do more damage. Increases your effectiveness with tools. Let's go ahead and take a hit of strength for now. We just need a couple more tears to get another level. And I figure the strength will allow us to acquire tears faster, to then purchase more. Doesn't seem like it's made enough of a difference to decrease the amount of hits these guys take yet. I think a second hit of strength would make them a 2-shot instead of 3. But I do think it will be very wise of me to invest in a little more vitality, because we currently do not take very many hits. Not that that was a massive change, but, you know. We don't have the map of this area, so I don't have any concept of exactly what the lay of the land here is, other than what I'm figuring out as I'm going here. Which, don't get me wrong, I have a decent idea of the lay of the land here, but not quite a complete idea just yet. We're gonna clear out all these areas, though, and start poking and prodding at everything. Because presumably something around here has to be interactable. Unless we're having another one of those fun cases of me overlooking the obvious somewhere, which is entirely possible. Because I'll be the first to say I'm not at peak performance today. I know I say that fairly often, but it remains true. Peak performance is elusive. You know, this is a one-tile pit just out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe it goes somewhere? Nope, sure doesn't. Well, it does. It goes to pain. But, you know, not somewhere useful. I do appreciate that there are health drops independent of your health potions, so that you can actually not always have to be spending your health potions to be able to keep yourself in reasonable shape. That is very kind. Now, if we could just delete these bats from existence, that would be much kinder. But, you know, that would also be asking for a lot. And for anybody that's like, well, why don't you just spam attack to deal with the bats? Because I'm sure you can attack often enough. One, your attack's slow, and if you look, every attack drains stamina. So you would be playing a fool's game to try to just spam attack your way to victory in a situation like that. You would be dooming yourself to failure. Unless you, like, spammed very specifically in the few seconds before the bat gets there. Which is still somewhat of a crapshoot. I don't think we went this way. I think this was the obvious thing that my mind was telling me I was overlooking. Yeah, this doesn't look like an area I've been to. I think I just skipped over this because I saw the bat and was just like, no, I'm not dealing with it. Yeah, this is all new territory now. I knew I was just missing a turn or something stupid like that. Which means if I go back down that skinnier path where the 3 zombies were over here on the left, that should link us up to that other path we saw. Logically. The one right down here. Oh no, there's 1 zombie here. It was 3 pits, not 3 zombies. Either way, 3 dangers. Spikes. And I was incorrect. This leads to a spot that needs a key to open an area to a chest. Alright. We'll deal with that later then, when we eventually have keys. Bunch of things that need keys around here, though. I wonder if that means that key is going to be reusable, or if it is a single-use key and you just have to find a bunch of them. Only one way to find out, really, and that's to find them. I happened across this one on social media, specifically Blue Sky, a month or two ago? And I did not initially realize that there was going to be a Next Fest demo for this, but I was keeping my eyes open for it, and lo and behold, here we are. Let's go open up that chest. Because while there's a door I can open with a key, I feel like I'm much more interested in what that chest has to offer. Because while the key might lead to new territory, we still have new territory over here on the right we have not finished exploring. And cleaning up this chest means I'm less likely to forget that this chest is here. That's kind of what I figured, is just some more tears. Okay, you can't roll through spikes using the iframes. Understood. I was admittedly hoping for more than, I think that was, what, 5 tears I got out of that box? I was kind of hoping for more than that, but it is what it is. So let's go all the way back over here again. Oh, there's a bat. How about we don't? How about we don't with the bat? This one I'm probably gonna have to deal with, though. There are some angles that these are a real nuisance to try to hit at, and then there are angles that are much more beneficial to me. I will give you a sample of a band. Goodbye. Boy. Been a little bit since we had one of those. You found a piece of the map. Now we have the map of this section too. Very good. So I guess there's gonna be a piece of the map in every, like, biome area probably. So, like, we had one for the cave, and now there's a specific map piece for the entire graveyard. But it also seems to only fill in places we've been? Unless past here might be a new biome, which that would make sense. I really don't know why people think that it's okay to just roll up and try to offload their art on someone, though, without even saying anything else. Like, nope, we're just gonna jump in and just go straight for the cold sale here. It's very much the same energy as somebody who just comes knocking on your door randomly, even though you have a no solicitor sign. It's very tiresome. And especially when you phrase it like, oh yeah, we're designing these to match each streamer's vibe. You've been here for, I doubt, more than a minute or two. How the hell would you know what the vibe here is? Because if you'd been here for any real amount of time, you'd know you're not supposed to do that. That's not even accounting for the potential reality where you're insulting someone who, for example, makes all of their own stuff. Trying to make an offer to replace their stuff can be read as an insult to their work. Now that we have another key, I could go all the way back to that other room, but we may as well finish clearing up down here, because at this point it'll be a real long walk back. Alright. Onward and upward. Or in this case, onward and downward. That's new territory. Let's go this way. So an argument can be made that there's no reason to even open this door, but it is a shortcut. So I will open it just for the sake of it being a shortcut. is we should be able to afford to buy another upgrade. And I can restock and everything. Yeah, it's 26 for an upgrade. I don't really see a need to get more stamina right now, because we haven't really been having a problem of running out of stamina. Vitality is tempting, but I'm gonna do what I do best, and that is hit harder. I do feel like I may somewhat regret not putting any points in skill, in more ways than one. But I feel like we're gonna pick up a tool and I will immediately want to be making use of that, and I won't be able to because I don't have any points in skill. But as it stands, I kind of need to work with what I got, not with what I could get. And at least we're down to 2 hits for the zombies, so I'm happy. Hiding in the grass. So sneaky. There's something actually over here, or was this just a, hey, there's a well here, and it's surrounded by grass because it looks cool? Aha! Huh. That seems distinctly like a, I don't want to deal with that right now. These things take way longer to attack than I think they do. Like, I was fully expecting it to, like, judder, like, 3 times, then it was gonna go. I'm forgetting you can't roll through the spikes. I was gonna be clever and roll diagonally through. Also, the timing on that is really, really strict. Drink another potion immediately because I positioned just wrong to deal with that zombie. I do hope there's more things to find than just more tears in these boxes at some point, though. Of course, you know, it is just a demo, so maybe there will be more happening in the chests in the full game. It's hard to say, really. It would make a degree of sense for tools and things to be fairly rare, in keeping with the type of game this is designed to be. Assuming this is where we need to be. You've arrived. It seems your aptitudes are not entirely lacking. You've only died a couple times on the way here. Before you stands the entrance to Dreadmore Palace. Enter, and within, hunt down the beast, end its existence. We shall meet again once the deed is done. Should you survive, of course. I could have explored the rest of the area back over there, but this seems like where the main deal is going to be happening. Touch the checkpoint first, you silly man. Last thing we need is to end up reviving all the way back where we were. That'd be very ineffective. Okay, he's got a shield, it looks like. Gotta make him block once and then strike him from the side. Seems to be the mechanic here. There we go. Got arrow traps. Assuming I can roll through them. So getting slowed by the spikes here is gonna make it... Oh, right, you can't roll while you're in these either. Oh, this is pain. But we made it. Sometimes you just gotta accept some pain into your life. It's interesting how they try to run away to have some space to actually roll at you. Though that does seem like it can work against them a bit, too. This is unfortunate. Why did the arrow that was higher go slower? What is with the travel time difference there? You would think they would just go at the same speed. Let's deal with that later, because I don't have the health for that anymore. Not that I have the health to go back, either. Well, this sucks. Guess I'll die, because there really ain't much I can do about this at this point. Oh no, we made it. Problem is, we are gonna have to fight things like that again, but it'll be fine. There is a worse situation to potentially been in. Like, actually dying. And I do appreciate that they immediately give you the ability to travel between these, rather than you having to find, like, a specific item to travel between them or anything. I do have to go through all that nonsense up there, though. Okay. Just double checking to make sure everything's working still, because I'm paranoid that way. Bear with me. Again, never used display capture, so I don't entirely understand it. So I think I've used display capture a whole one other time in all my years of streaming. I was pretty sure I was gonna get hit there, but I was really hoping to manage to squeeze through. I really feel like I should have like a shield or something by now. And we got unlucky that time. I think I timed stepping out there just wrong. You know, there's something I need to check now that I think about it. 'Cause I might be being stupid. And I'll explain why in a moment here. Oh, mix of I'm being stupid and maybe we didn't know. Yep, you can break the arrows. I should have tried that a while ago, considering the nature of this spot here. But you very rarely get to do that in anything like this, so I just assumed it was just, hey, you're just gonna have to suffer. This is why we check these things. This also makes this area make a lot more sense as well. Because you're not meant to be dodging the arrows, you're meant to be just breaking them so that you can move on freely. Of course, you know, you time it slightly wrong. I did that thing again where I forget just how long it takes to heal. Because you really do not have much room for error with the amount of health you have, even with a couple points in vitality. Those arrows do a lot of damage. Which it makes sense, that it's meant to teach you to deal with the mechanic, not to have you just be able to heal your way through it or find some workaround and not learn. So it really does feel real bad when you end up just barely off and end up in a bad timing loop there. I'm just not even gonna deal with him this time. I have no reason to bother. It's mildly frustrating when you end up just barely sliding off the edge, but that is the way of how things like this work. That's not really a this game's fault situation necessarily. That is accurate to how games of this style handle their ledges. I just never was a fan of it in the games this is built off of either, necessarily. I do appreciate that I can at least hit both of them when they're in position to be hit. Of course, that guy's now lodged in that corner. There we go. Problem solved. Give me something nice. Well, you know what? That does legally count as something nice, because we do need a key to go open that other door. So I continue to remain hopeful to find, like, a tool or a weapon or something. Oh, come on. You would really think that would have prioritized me being on the platform rather than prioritizing me being in the hole. But it's fine. Okay, so I think they do intend you to open that door with this key then. Which is why we're not going to do it yet. I'm going to look over here first. Yeah, no, let's go open the locked door. I was curious to see if by turning around and going that way I was going to find like a treasure box or something. Is why I poked my nose over there. Yeah, that's not the one that I'm looking at opening. It was... Wait. Oh no, there wasn't a key door over here. It was only the big door. Was there? Wait, no, it was further to the right. Past where the Rolly Boy was, there was a locked door. For some reason, I thought there was a locked door that went up. Oh, but I gotta go through this again. God damn it. I think I might have been better served going backwards. Just so I didn't have to do this, but then again, I would have to do the moving platform bit instead. So really, there's just not a great winning scenario there. That's not great, when you can knock the tears off the map. Might want to see if they can put a constraint on those to keep them from getting sent off the map. Ah, you found a shield. You can perfect block by activating the shield right before getting hit. Perfect block keeps you in place, negates all the damage, and does not consume stamina. I kind of figured we were getting a shield in here with the way this place was designed. Okay, you can get around that. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to slip away, his way around that edge or not. Turns out he can. There we go. Block timing's pretty good. I say as one who's not usually much for trying to perfect block. I'm managing to make it work decently, so... The frame window for that must be decently generous. I wouldn't say it's massively wide open, but it must be fairly open. Oh wow, you can perfect block those too. Look at that. Okay, that was unfortunate. Why am I even going back that way? Oh, right, because this room is miserable. I don't know why I keep forgetting about that room. I forget that room is that room over and over. I think I'm just trying not to think about what this room is. It's not that this room is even that difficult or this room is bad or anything. It's just exactly the antithesis of me. It's like, hey, do you want a room that's going to take time to go through and more or less is you just having to be patient? No? Well, good news, you're getting that room anyway. That's basically what we were dealing with in that room. But we do need to go back this way because I presume over here somewhere is where the key we need is. like intend you to hit him and then roll around him. 'Cause I feel like the delay between attacking and rolling makes that roughly the same as if you walked around him, so I'm not sure. Yeah, see, that seems to be much the same, so I don't know if there's any real benefit to that idea. Guess who immediately hit the wrong button thinking it was right bumper instead of left bumper for shield? I'll give you a hint, it's the guy who just got hit in the face by a big roly bug. In hindsight, I should have just used the button path. This is taking us quite literally there. I, for some reason, thought there was another path off of this area. For fuck's sake, I did it again. And I want to... I keep timing it just right to fall off of there now, as I'm trying to have a coherent thought. What I was gonna say is I like how this game looks and sounds. Like, aesthetically, they've got it down very well. And even if I may be mildly annoyed at a couple things here and there, it's genuinely nothing bad. It's just things that mildly get my goat specifically. And some of it is, of course, the fact that I'm not at the top of my game, so some of this is causing more issues than it would under normal circumstances. I do appreciate that the arrow traps affect them too, though. Credit for that. Because if there's anything that annoys me in games, it's that the enemies are, like, weirdly immune to the traps around them. For no real reason, they just are. It's just like, okay, but why, though? The fact that I can't quickly do things is slightly upsetting. But that's also kind of expected. This is meant to be a little bit more deliberate than just run around and spam and hope for the best. Oh, be advised, I did not set up the command today. Because half the time in the last session I didn't even end up using the command, I just typed it out manually anyway. So, I just didn't bother setting the command up today. So the store pages for these things will just be posted up at the end of each segment, as we did with the collab. Which in hindsight I realized I forgot to put up the store page for Yap Yap last night, but I also put the store page up for it the last time we played it, so it kind of falls into a weird gray area. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why did that end up hitting me when I was already across the pit? That was weird. I think I may have bumped into a weird edge case scenario there. I presume up here must be something I need. It's a chest, so probably not something I actually need, but we'll find out. Sucker. Just running himself right into a corner. Okay, no, we found the map. That was actually fairly nice. Because now we can actually see the lay of the land here and realize I had the key I needed to go through that door, and I should have just went through that door. But coming back here and getting the map does help, because we now know quite literally all the rooms. We're actually making fast progress through this, despite the fact that I completely botched so many things. And I'm assuming that door near the checkpoint back at the beginning is the boss door, considering it's a nice big gate. And it would make sense for the boss door to be near the checkpoint, unless they planned on having multiple checkpoints in a dungeon, which seems like this is built to be one checkpoint per area. As so far, at least. Oh wait, yeah, this just drops me back. Wait, didn't we see a locked door somewhere? I'm forgetting where the locked door I saw was again. Well, I may as well go back to the checkpoint and heal, though, because otherwise we are going to just drop dead soon. Because we just have a small key. We don't have a big key of any kind. And I'm pretty confident. Yeah, we have one Dreadmore key. We have the Cutlass, and we have the Heater Shield. Which, based on the way these are listed out, I presume we will get other things for both of these slots. Probably not in the duration of this demo. Not without me actually going over the hour. Do you understand the point? At least hopefully you understand the point. There's the big door. Checkpoint's right here. I don't have much choice but to rest, considering I'm out of healing. We're not having too much trouble killing enemies in 2 hits right now, so let's just take 2 hits of vitality. And we'll rest again. That's a much nicer looking health bar. Is there something up here? Yeah, there was these 2 clowns. Yeah, because up here was the map. Here's where we just were. We went across here and then realized we had to hop down. Right, the other locked door was all the way back over here. I was looking at this whole stretch here and I'm like, I did that. Except I didn't, because there's somewhere up here was a locked door. Right. Okay, you can't roll through enemies. Gonna have to keep that in mind. It is really a peeve for me specifically that you can't roll once you start sliding off a ledge. I understand why it is the way that it is, but I'm trying to extend my roll a little bit further and just go a little further, a little faster. And it keeps catching me because I wait just like a frame too long as I approach one of those pits. Alright. No, you're not doing any more of that. Yeah, up this way was where the locked door was. Right here specifically. I'm glad the other one chose to run for its life rather than attacking me. If it had attacked, I would have died. And if you're wondering, is he trying to expedite things by skimming past the enemies more? The answer would be correct. I'm almost out of demo time here. So I'm trying to see as much of this place as I can. I feel like going this way might be pointless, but I'm curious about this room up here in particular. Is why I'm going this way. Because I figured there is actually an access here, even though the map didn't make it look like there is. This is presumably the big key. The master key unlocks a very special door. Alright, back we go. Because I figured this one was the one connected to a pair of shortcuts that lead pretty much straight back to the beginning. So it would make the most sense for the big key to be there, so you could go straight on back to where the boss door is. So I once again went the wrong way for getting back quickly. But it's fine. We'll at least get there in time to see the boss. I really, really dislike the amount of things you can't do when you're slipping on those ledges. Because for those that wondered why I got shot in the face there, I couldn't block either while I was on that slide. Bit. Why must it always favor me dropping to my death? Why can't it ever favor me? And that's why you don't try to roll onto those like that, by the way. In case anybody's like, well, why don't you just take the shorter path and just roll onto it the fast way? Because this is a little fiddly as far as that goes. Why didn't it... I wasn't over the edge when I pressed the roll button that time. Why did it not roll that time? Like, that one I can't give them an excuse for. That one doesn't make sense. Because I did exactly what I just did there, except it worked once and not the other time. It must have been quite literally just like a step different. I forgot I didn't kill him. Not opening that door yet, though. I need to touch the checkpoint, so I'm not gonna just immediately die. Okay. Now let's see what's behind big ol' fancy door. Seraph the Impure. Really hard. Meanwhile, I do not. Of course you have a projectile right at that moment. Of course you do. I knew there was gonna be something to punish you trying to heal, because this seems like it's designed for that kind of idea to be in play. I wasn't sure what the punish attack was gonna be. Even with all the vitality we have, he does just chew right through your health. There we go. Like, he gives you some leeway on his attacks, but I feel like with how slow our own attacks are, this is gonna be a bit of a process to get through. Okay, there is warning there. I really expected him to be dropping down way sooner than that. So by the time he eventually came down, I was not ready for it anymore. And it hits a bit wider than the shadow indicates, which is not ideal. I feel like the shadow should be the size of where he will be, not the shadow being smaller than his attack. Maybe that's just me. I feel like if you're trying to telegraph where the damage will be, having it be inaccurate size-wise is not helpful. That didn't work. I tried to block it there, but either I timed it wrong, which it's kind of tricky to tell because I was under him by that point, or you can't block that because it may not be necessarily hitting from where you expect it to be hitting in terms of direction. So I faced center mass as best I could, figuring that would be where the origin point of the damage would be. But I assume this isn't intended to be a fight you can win fast, which is not great for me. But this was expected going into this particular game. That attack is so... It's so slow and fast at the same time. It is like the perfect attack to hit me with. It takes him a long time to come down, but the second he drops, he's there. So you need to get a really good read on when he's landing exactly. Otherwise, you are just going to get hit by that. And it does a lot of damage. Like, this is one of those rare times I can't say, oh yeah, I'm having trouble because I didn't put enough points in Vitality. The majority of my points are in Vitality. So for him to do the majority of my health bar with that drop attack, that basically means if you didn't put points in Vitality, that's an instant kill. And that's kind of brutal. There we go, I managed to dodge it that time. I really should have put some points in stamina, admittedly. Because I knew I was going to have a problem because of that. When we got to a boss, I'll be honest, wasn't really anticipating getting to a boss at the rate things were going. Yep, had a feeling. But the problem is, I didn't feel like I was going to get a better opportunity to heal at any point further at that point, and one touch was death. So I didn't really feel like I had options there anymore. I was hoping to end the demo on success, but I'm not surprised that we're going to be ending it on failure. I do think this thing's a little tough to be the first thing you're dealing with, but at the same time, I'm assuming this is going to be in keeping with the design philosophies this is built on, where this is meant to be a difficult game. And all it would really take is just a bit more time and a bit more prep to be fine on this one. Because as it stands, we're still getting like halfway through his health bar without it being too much of an ordeal. It's mostly just that attack and then getting punished when I try to heal. Case in point right there. He had sat around for a few seconds and still was able to hit me before I finished healing. Because the healing animation is just really long. Again, makes sense, because otherwise you just heal tank your way to victory through everything. But it is a bit brutal as far as the length goes. And the fact that there's a delay between every move you make really just keeps getting me screwed a lot of the time here. Because I try to, like, attack and then block, but there are so many times where I don't have a visible animation happening anymore, but there's, like, a frame or so of delay between moves. And it keeps screwing me. Take a look, like, for example, right there. I was already done swinging, and he had put his sword away fully, but I could not pull the shield up even though I pressed the button for it. That's gonna keep getting me killed, but I don't think it's, like, a bad thing necessarily. I do personally wish that wasn't the case, but it is what it is. there's the demo page for y'all. You can see it all there as well. In that brief moment, I flicked everything around. Now I'm going to get rid of the display capture because it upsets me. And we're going to move on to the next game, which I will also freely admit, I do think some of my impression on that did start off on the wrong foot because of the technical issues it brought about right at the beginning, because of the fact that it just did not want to display. And the fact that it keeps putting itself over on my other monitor doesn't do it any favors either. But I do think there's great potential in that game, and it will be very fun once it comes out.